This is Yarbo, and it's supposed to be the ultimate smart home robot. It does autonomous snow blowing, autonomous snow plowing, and autonomous mowing, amongst other things. So I've had this for 1 year now, and I put it through all the tests on my 3.7 acre property, and there's been good and bad. When this thing works, it's like magic, but when it doesn't, it fails big. I've had motor issues that required replacements of modules. I've had different antennas break. I've had the disc that holds the blades break. And I even had to rescue it when I returned from vacation one time. So I'm going to tell you all about that in this video. Today, I'm going to give you the 1 year unfiltered review of the Yarbo, the good, the bad, and would I do it again? So let's get to it. Let's start with why I bought this thing. It automates a lot of the outdoor chores on your property that you probably hate. And when it works, it's awesome. You're on cloud nine. There's nothing else like it. The biggest win has been the snow clearing. There's nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, like waking up in your nice warm bed and knowing that you don't have to go out and shovel the driveway because the Yarbo took care of it while you were sleeping. It is so cool. And it not only does it while we're sleeping or home, but it can do it while we're away also. So our driveway's not blocked when we return if it was snowing while we were out. And we can come right into the garage, no issue at all. And then there's mowing. We have 3.7 acres of property, so we have a lot of grass. And that takes a lot of time to mow. And sometimes you're out doing it in the heat, and who wants to be doing that? So the Yarbo has mowed for us all year long. We had to mow one time manually because of one of the times where there was an issue that we were waiting on support for the Yarbo. We did mow that one time because the grass is getting taller than I wanted, but only once all season. So that saved us dozens and dozens of hours with our mowing of our property. But the surprise feature that I actually loved is its towing capabilities. We've used this for all kinds of things. We have it follow us around when we're picking up sticks or trimming the trees, and it's pulled dead trees out of the ground and drug those to the back of our property so we could dispose of those. And it's also supported some of our transplanted trees. So when we're trying to backfill, it pulled them up and held them in place so we could backfill perfectly around those. And last but not least, here in the US, we like to have our fireworks. So it's hauled around the fireworks as well when we're getting ready for our 4th of July party. But you don't own a cutting edge robot without pitfalls as an early adopter. And let me tell you, we've had our fair share. The first one that I want to mention is the core unit. We actually had an issue with one of the drive motors. They did replace the core unit under warranty, but of course we were without a unit for a few days there while we were waiting on that to ship. Next, the lawnmower module. We have a lot of property, and some of it's pretty tough terrain and pretty tough grass to mow through, especially if it gets a little bit higher. So we did have not one, but 2 failures of the motors on the lawnmower, the standard lawnmower module, where it basically went over current and it wouldn't work anymore. So they did replace that under warranty as well. But as I'm going to discuss a little bit later in the video, we did upgrade to the Pro model. I haven't used it yet, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. And the antennas. I hope you like replacing the antennas. I just have the short ones on right now, but when you have the high ones on, they're pretty high, about up to here. So they do tend to catch on things, particularly when you're mowing. I always try to keep the short ones on when I'm mowing, but even in that situation, it can catch on something very easily and break it right off. Probably replaced 4 antennas. One of them was even when I was driving, so that one was a user error, obviously. But this thing has caught itself several times, and that has resulted in the antennas being broken off. With that being said, there is a new high mount antenna. I have not tried it yet, but it's a flexible setup, so maybe that'll prevent the issues moving forward. And I believe that's standard now on all of the cores, so maybe you won't have that issue if you buy this, but I certainly had antenna issues with this setup. And I had an issue with the mower blade disc. I did break one of those off. I think something got jammed in there, and basically it's a sacrificial part, I believe, to save the motors so that the lawnmower itself isn't out of commission. You just replace that blade disc and you're good to go there. Beyond the broken parts, sometimes the AI is not that intelligent. So we've had some collateral damage. We've had a situation where it caught one of the slides that was on our play set and ripped it off the play set because it kept on going and it was plenty powerful to rip it off. So that was a collateral damage situation. And for a while, I had to refer to it as the Onceler. So if you aren't familiar, look that one up. But it did run over a small tree or bush. It, I guess, didn't ever hit the bumper, and I had the vision off. So partially my blame there because I didn't have a no-go zone around it. But I should have hit the bumper and stopped it. Instead, it ran right over it and destroyed that tree. So had to call this thing the Onceler for a while, per my wife. I've also had a couple issues in the plow mode where if we get a lot of snow, it'll end up pushing the snow to the edge where it needs to go through to get to the sidewalk area, and then it just can't get through there because it's just plowed up so much. So I'll have to use a remote control to handle the Yarbo and push it through because it just won't do it itself. Also, when you're plowing around the edge, sometimes it gets piled up, and if it refreezes and such, it'll sit there and push against it for a little bit of time, trying to move that pile unsuccessfully. And last but not least, the snowblower. Like any other snowblower, whether it's autonomous or gas snowblower or whatever else you might have, it does clog up if the snow is wet and mushy and freezing. So it's just not a good setup for that. So if you have that fluffy snow, the snowblower works great on that. But as you can see, a lot of times I'll opt to just put the snow plow on the front. It does a great job. It pushes it around. And this is a lot quieter at night. So I don't feel as bad running this at night because sometimes the auger on the snowblower, maybe it would bother neighbors. I'm not really sure, but I think that the snow plow is a much better option if you're running it all night long. But one of the most frustrating moments actually happened while we were on vacation. The time where you want to set it and forget it and just have it work. Well, it worked for a while, and then it got to the back of our property and lost connection, and it didn't return or anything. It just sat there and died. So when we came home, I didn't have a charger that I could just charge the battery at the time, so I actually had to load that thing up and pull it back to the front of the property. So it was a pretty big inconvenience returning from vacation and having to physically move it. These things are heavy, so I didn't like that at all. Needless to say, I did buy the battery charging cord after that incident. So now if that happened again, all I'd do is pull the battery, charge that, and walk the battery back. Much easier process, but not one you want to have to deal with after vacation. However, the journey isn't over yet. As I had mentioned earlier, we upgraded to the Pro lawnmower. And the big difference with this one is more powerful motors and these straight cutting blades versus the little razor blades to do the lawn mowing. So this thing should be an absolute beast. Plus, I just got the notification that the back brace mount and trimmer are going to be delivered this week. So I can't wait to see those. So after a year of owning the Yarbo and using it, what do I think? Would I buy it again? Am I happy I bought it? The answer to both those questions is definitely yes. It's a give and take relationship, a love-hate situation sometimes. When this thing works, though, it's absolutely amazing. And most of the time, it does just work. Waking up to a plowed driveway is absolutely priceless. But you have to be ready to be the mechanic also. You have to be ready to repair the antennas if you need to, replace discs on it, work with the customer service reps and customer support and make sure that you're communicating everything to them. And also, you might have to return a module when they ship you a new one. When they've done that for me under the warranty claims, I basically just take the new module out, put the old one in that box, wrap it up, and then there's a website you go to and you select when you want the shipper to pick it up from your property. So it's pretty easy and no cost to you. With that being said, the good has definitely outweighed the bad. It's kept me out of the cold in the winter and out of the heat in the summer. And it gives me more time to spend with the people I love doing the things I love. So I'm going to be testing the Pro lawnmower. And if you want to see that or see how the back brace or the trimmer work, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss the future videos. Leave me a comment of what you think about Yarbo and stay safe, stay smart, and I'll see you in the next one.